You won't believe what Highland Homes put into their newest model right here in the Austin metro area. Let's take a look. In this video, I'm walking you through the newest model home built by Highland in the Austin, San Antonio metro area. This is the Verona plan. And before we go through this plan, I will tell you, if you're more interested in pricing, you want to see an actual home for sale, I'm going to show you a one-story plan later on in the video that's on a huge 90-foot wide lot in the top-selling master plan community in the Austin metro area. So stay tuned for that. Now for this plan, the Verona plan, we're over 3,300 square feet. We have 4 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, options for 2 half bathrooms, a 3-car tandem garage, and so much great design that we're gonna walk through in detail in this video. Now we are in a community called Cima, which is located in San Marcos, Texas. This suburb is just northeast of San Antonio and just south of Austin, Texas. So it's sandwiched in between both cities. But later on in the video, that home for sale is going to be in the top selling community in the Austin metro area, and that's located north of Austin, Texas. But I want to stick to this plan because there is so much to see here, like these dark beams running across the ceiling that is so tall, sliding glass doors on the back wall with transom windows above them, and so much great design in this main living room, which we're going to cover starting in the kitchen. Now, my name is Raj Sahu. I'm a realtor in Austin, Texas, and I've represented clients with 20 different builders. So I'm going to give you their perspective walking through homes like this and also explain the differences that I've seen working with so many different builders. Now, what my clients say about kitchens with Highland Homes is they feel so grand. Now, that starts with the amount of cabinets that are here and the size of the kitchen island. I think this is what so many of my clients ask is there an upgrade on the kitchen island that we can do to increase the size? And with so many builders, the answer is no. But Highland and a lot of their plans either offer an upgrade option for that kitchen island size or just generally speaking have very large kitchen islands. They also have great designer vent hoods and this option to extend the countertops into the backsplash in many of their communities. In fact, I have a client who just closed with Highland that did that same vent hood. The difference is they did a different cabinet color on the kitchen island and matched that with the vent hood. So that provided a very cool contrast in here in the kitchen. But I also think what they did here is fantastic. The dark cabinets match up well with the dark beams and the pendant light and the faucet, and some of the dark touches that are in this kitchen just provide that great contrast against the light countertops and the light flooring that they used in this main living area. But I do think what really sets this main living area apart is the living room, which we're going to get to next. I just want to give you a quick look at the pantry, and there is still so much to see in this home. We're going to head to the primary suite, which has a structural upgrade in there that I will show you in detail. And then once we're done with the primary suite, wait until you see the outdoor patio area, which I think Highland just does at a completely different level. And if you like the outdoors, you want to put a pool in your backyard, there is a very cool upgrade that I think everybody should have in their home, especially if they're planning to put in a pool in their backyard. So we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But what I got to go back to is this main living area, because this is what it's all about. When I walk homes, especially model homes with my clients, I always tell them, hey, you're going to fall in love with the design in a lot of these model homes because it's a professional did this. They put a lot of money into this, and there is an art to what they do, and they do it really well. So if you fall in love with the plan, it makes sense. There's a design element. But I want to talk about the functional elements of you living in the home. For example, I have a lot of clients that love this breakfast nook area because they can fit a 6-seater dining table in here, and they don't need a dedicated dining room. They always tell me, hey, I've lived in a home that has dedicated dining and we never use it. It just sits there in the corner and it's just wasted square footage. So they want that square footage a part of this main living area, and they want tall ceilings in their living room. And this is what I hear from so many of my clients where they say that space, the dining included in the living room with tall ceilings and great design elements that just make you look all around this area, that's the dream. because for a lot of my clients, they say after a long day of work, they want to decompress in their main living area. They want to cook and be around other people while they're cooking. And so they want everything open to each other. And I think that's what Highland's been able to accomplish in this huge living room on a one-story plan with great design. I love the fireplace here. I've had a lot of clients put in a fireplace and actually do a dark tile going all the way up to the ceiling. In fact, I have a client that actually just closed on their inventory home with a builder that didn't have a fireplace, and they're actually doing it after closing. So if you want pricing on what that would look like, or if you want to know what you can do after closing, reach out to me. I have a lot of clients that still get what they want because we have certain contacts that can get them what they want after closing, like a fireplace build out. But I have to tell you, you need the plan to make sense for you. And I think for a lot of clients that tell me, hey, I don't want a dedicated dining area. I want to combine with the living room. I want tall ceilings. I want that sprawling one-story plan. I think that's why a lot of clients look at this new model home, the Verona plan. Now we're going to head to the primary suite next, but I got to tell you, I just pointed over on the right side there to a surprise that I think is a great feature to have in a home for buyers that are planning on doing a lot of work in their backyard, like a pool or a huge backyard patio. I'll get into that surprise in a couple of minutes, but I want to show you this extended primary suite option. And all that means is it's a structural upgrade that adds a bump out on the right side of the room here, and that's where you see that couch with the two stools. It adds some windows, and it just extends this primary suite. And I think this is a great upgrade for two reasons. Number one, this definitely plays a factor in resale. This is a bedroom you're going to be using every single day for whoever's living in this, both for livability and for resale. And the second reason is for clients that say that they want to grow a family, they want to have kids. When you have that time where you need a little bit more space for a crib, for a baby that's staying with you in the room, you don't want to go through the house in the middle of the night, I think it's great to have that extended primary suite option. And I can tell you that from experience. At the time I'm recording this video, my wife and I have two kids under the age of 3. So we have a 10-month-old son and our daughter's 2.5 years old. And I got to tell you, when you get up multiple times in the night to feed your child, take care of them, they're crying, the last thing you want to do is go up and down steps or go far into your house to another room. It's nice to just have them close by. What's also nice is primary bathrooms that open up like this. So many of my clients tell me they love the vanities everywhere, a lot of cabinetry, a lot of mirrors that make this space feel so big, and then tall ceilings, which I think Highland does so well. But I really think it's the freestanding tub walk-in shower combination that's just incredible in this primary bathroom. And as we circle over there, you're gonna see some pieces of tape on the primary shower. Just know that I got in and this new model home, it was very new. It was actually just finishing up construction. So that's why you see that red tape there. So shout out to Highland for letting me tape this while it was still in this stage. And I say tape this like we're using videotape in the 1990s, right? But you know what I mean. We're shooting this on a 4K device that shows this shower so well, where it's open on both sides, and this freestanding tub with the glass behind it makes that tile behind it look like it's the backsplash for that freestanding tub. I think there's so many fun design elements you can do in this primary bathroom. Now with the shower heads on either side, I actually just realized the doors on either side are right here taped up against the wall. Why are they here? These are the different hacks that you have to do at the end of construction, because if you put those anywhere in the house, I promise you they will get broken. I've been around so much new construction. That's actually the perfect place for them. So I love how they tape them up there. And again, appreciate Highland for letting me come in, even with some things that still need to be finished here. What I want to actually cover while we head to the primary closet, and again, after this, I'm going to show you that surprise outside of this primary suite. We're going to head to the back patio, which I think is an absolute dream builder for what you can do in your backyard. But what I want to go back to is that freestanding tub. Oftentimes with most plans, that freestanding tub is an upgrade. At the time I'm recording this video, that freestanding tub is included in the Verona plan in this community of Cima. I believe that's because the glass behind it's already included in the plan, and I don't think you can attach a non-freestanding tub to that glass. Don't quote me on that, but that's why I think they have to do a freestanding tub there. Most plans don't have that though. The tub is usually off in a corner somewhere, and so the standard is usually just your typical oval tub that has a build out around it that has tile slapped around the sides on it. and those tend to be more bulky. And so for a lot of my clients, they ask me, is it worth it to upgrade to a freestanding tub and pay that cost? And my answer is, well, we got to build out an Excel sheet that lists all your upgrades and see where you are compared to your budget. And then we have to also look at how you're allocating your funds, because if you're looking at resale and is this going to come back to you at resale, the answer to that question is, where are you putting your money, and are those areas that will come back to you at future resale? So resale is a factor, but the two other factors which really have to do with livability is the aesthetics of that freestanding tub and the functionality. So a lot of people jump right to functionality and they say, well, how many times are you going to be using that tub? And there's usually one spouse that says it. I won't say who typically says that, but they always ask, like, how long are you going to be using that tub? And that's one question, but the aesthetics is a factor. And I've found a lot of my clients say they love their freestanding tub. It makes the space feel bigger in a room that they're going to be in constantly. And I think that that matters. And so I would walk both a freestanding tub and the oval tub and ask how you feel in some of these plans. And that usually tells you the answer of whether you should do it or not. And then what we're moving on to is the surprise that I mentioned outside the primary suite. This is a powder bathroom, and it's a second powder bathroom because it's what they call a pool bath. And that's why it's right next to this patio door, because you're about to see one of the biggest patios that is offered in a lot of these master plan communities, and perfect for a pool. I know you may not be able to envision that here on this lot, but keep in mind, Highland Homes is showing you this incredible model home with this insane patio that has tall ceilings and is extended in so many different areas, because you can build this plan on so many different lots in many communities across the Austin, San Antonio metro areas. And you're going to see one of those lots later on in the video where I tour a Highland home for sale at the time I'm recording this video that's on a 90-foot wide lot, so it has a big backyard, perfect for putting a pool back there. But going back to the functionality of the home, what I hear from so many of my clients when they get a pool is their powder bathroom tends to be on the inside of the home. And so for kids or anybody running through their home wet, trying to get to that bathroom, it's tough because that water gets everywhere. And for that reason, a lot of my clients, the flooring that they choose tends to be either like a luxury vinyl plank or a wood look tile that tend to be a little bit more friendly with water. But most of my clients want that hardwood. It's just a question of whether they can pay the price for it and fit it into their budget. But hardwood doesn't play that well with water. And so that's where having that pool bath is huge, because it really gives you that functionality that people need when you're really doing a big build out in your backyard. And if you want a visual of what that looks like, reach out to me. I have different videos of my clients' backyards that they don't mind me sharing. And I can show you one that has sliding glass doors like this model home. And they actually did a big waterfall coming out of their pool, or into their pool, I should say. And it was a very cool design element, to the point where, similar to this home, when you walk in through the front door, you can see right out through the sliding glass doors and get a good visual of that design element in the backyard. And that just makes the entrance feel so grand when you can see right out into the backyard and there's this fun design element that's inviting you to the backyard pool party, or whatever you're doing. Now, the next two rooms also feel grand and I think have such a great functional element in this floor plan, and that's going to be the study and then the room that we're about to see right after this, which one of these types of rooms is usually missing on a one-story plan. Now, that ceiling height is what really makes this study feel grand, and I love how they have the desk facing to the outside. So if you can imagine a lot that has an incredible view off the backyard or backs up to greenery, and you want to enjoy that view while working, but let's say decompress between when you're working, just looking out that window, taking in the view, I think that's incredible. And for a lot of my clients that work from home or have some sort of work from home element in their career, I think it's great to have that study. When I say it's usually missing, one of those is missing in a one-story plan. This one-story plan has both of these rooms. One is a study, and the second is a dedicated game room / media room. Now, I just had two clients reach out to me, and it was so funny. They both said the same exact thing that they wanted in their home. And one couple was from Seattle, the other couple was from California, and they both mentioned they're in a one-story plan currently on the West Coast, moving to Austin soon. And in their one-story plan, they don't have a dedicated game room, media room. Now they have a young child, both couples do, and so that young child's really pretty much taken over the living room, right? Like their toys are everywhere. Their son, one has a son, the other one has a daughter. They're both crawling around, and they're at that stage where they just need more space. Also, and this was interesting with both couples, one couple said the husband loves watching sports, specifically cricket, and the wife loves cooking, and they always feel like they're on top of each other because then the husband's watching sports on their TV, cricket specifically, and then their kids trying to play there in that same space, and then it's right next to the kitchen. They just feel like they're on top of each other. And then what's funny is the other couple, it's reversed. The husband loves cooking and the wife loves watching movies, specifically Bollywood movies, and they always feel like they're on top of each other. The wife's trying to watch a movie in the living room, their kids playing on the floor, well, maybe not at the same time, but you know what I mean. Like the toys are everywhere, it's crazy, the husband's cooking in the kitchen, everybody's on top of each other. And what I told them is they need a dedicated game room, media room. Now, real quick, that mud bench is there because that would be a garage entry on the right side. They have it built out as the builder agent's office in this model home because it's for representation purposes. But that would normally be access to a 3-car tandem garage. And then as you enter in from the garage, you have that mud bench, take off your shoes, and then you have a utility room for laundry. Now, getting back to what I was stating, with both couples, what's interesting is they both wanted a 1-story plan. They just felt like they needed more square footage compared to where they were on the West Coast. And so I talked about this plan, and they were a little bit skeptical with the study right next to the media room because both couples are in tech, so they work from home, so somebody's always in that study working. And I showed them sound absorbing panels, and the technology on these panels have become incredible. I don't know if it's for everybody. I wouldn't recommend always having your study next to your entertainment room if you're very particular about not hearing anything when you're working in that study. But I've had a lot of people use those sound absorbing panels and they rave about it. It really helps because it's made to absorb sound. Some builders offer insulation on the interior walls, which they don't have to do, but it's an upgrade. But insulation's not made to absorb sound. It will help a little bit, but it won't help as much as sound absorbing panels. And so I've had a lot of people put those in their media room to just protect all the sound from getting out of that media room. Now, if you are completely against having a study and a media room share a wall, then rest assured there is a 1-story floor plan with Highland Homes that is one of their most popular 1-story plans, and I'm going to detail that later on in the video. I have a great walkthrough of that home, and that one has a game room and a media room right off of it that's a dedicated area. It's in like the back right of the home, and there's nothing that's really neighboring it that would be a huge concern for most people. Now, getting back into the plan, we are in one of the bedrooms that has an in-suite full bathroom. This one is private from the other bedrooms, and I think that's why it's important to have a walk-in shower here, just because if you have parents staying with you, you have somebody elderly staying with you, and that's why you have a 1-story plan. Having this bedroom that's private from the others, it's nice to have that walk-in shower. I think this is also helpful for future resale. Now, while we go through the rest of this home, what I wanted to cover were a couple of things. First off, I mentioned clients from the West Coast. I have clients that call me from many different cities. It is a lot of West Coast, mostly Seattle, California, maybe some Portland. But I've also had clients reach out to me from Chicago and Boston and New York. And I just had one from Kansas City. I just had one move in from Portland. And I love all my clients that reach out to me that are out of state because when they're looking at what they can buy in Austin, what I found is they want detailed videos, but they also want to know final pricing. And for a lot of these builders, they put their base price on their website because it's low, but most people don't realize you have to add all these things to that price to get your final price, like lot premium, structural upgrades, design upgrades, elevation. There are different costs that get added to that. And because I have so much experience working with these different builders, meaning I don't work for the builder, I work for my clients, and I give them an unbiased perspective on their best options, I'm able to give you what I think is a true final price. Now, I haven't seen Highland do this, but I have seen other builders where they say, oh, your price for that type of plan should be around here, like $800,000. And I think to myself, wait, I just had a client build that same plan and they ended up at $900,000. Why would you say it's $800,000? And the simple answer sometimes is because sometimes people don't want you to realize that you're not within budget because they want to make the sale. And I hate seeing that. It stings my tongue, like just stating that out loud, but it does happen. And that's why I always come in telling people, hey, if you want that unbiased perspective, I'm not here to sell you that this builder is the best or this builder is the best. I'm just going to give you the pros and cons. Every single builder both has pros and cons, and each of these communities has different pros and cons. And so I think it's really important to understand what that education, what those pros and cons look like when everybody's trying to sell you that they're the best, their community is the best. It's important to put the noise to the side and figure out what's best for you. And speaking of what's best for you, I've had a lot of clients ask for bigger bedrooms. In fact, I just had a client move into their home and they were actually surprised when the furniture went in. It was actually bigger than they thought. And they had taken dimensions of everything and they kind of questioned, like, some of these bedrooms don't feel as big. And it's because they have older kids that are in middle and high school. And so they want a separate area for them in their bedroom they can put their desk. And that's exactly what Highland's been listening to from different buyers. And that's why they have this separate sitting room in this spare bedroom where it makes it huge. Now they have a TV there, so you can kind of sit down, I guess, watch one of their videos in one of their homes, because this is a model home, again, for representation purposes. But I think a lot of people would like using that sitting room space for a desk area, especially if you have kids that need to do schoolwork. Or I've even had people say they need a spare bedroom that they can just put like a small workout area in, because they want an area on the first floor to have like a workout room, but they don't need like a dedicated workout room. So if you just have like a Peloton or a bench with like some dumbbells that have different weights attached to them, that's a perfect space, I think, for that. Now, with that in mind, I actually had that same client bring up something that I think is really important in your home, and I'll get to that in a minute. I just want to cover this specific bedroom had an en-suite full bathroom, and then prior to this, we actually saw the second powder bathroom. And so there just aren't that many one-story plans that have two different powder bathrooms, but like I said earlier, that powder bath in the back that serves as like a pool bathroom, I think is perfect. And for most people watching this, if you say, wait, it's a pool bathroom, but it doesn't have a shower, I've actually had a lot of clients do an outdoor shower just to kind of rinse off, get the chlorine off of you in their backyard. So I've actually had a couple clients just finish their pool, and they both did that in their backyard, meaning not a shower where obviously you take off your clothes and like it's a full-on shower. It's just a lot of people just need to rinse off the chlorine before they go inside, and having that outdoor shower is a great upgrade, I think, to have with your pool builder when you plan your project. Now, this is also great to have. I'd mentioned that sitting room can be used as like a pseudo workout area, but for somebody who really needs that dedicated workout space, this was a great way to kind of show that off in a spare bedroom. So this is a 4-bedroom home that the other 2 bedrooms were, I believe, a little bit bigger, especially that bedroom 3 with a sitting room. But that's why they did some yoga mats here, some mirrors, and voila, you have a workout room. Now, I do also have some plans where you can get an upgraded workout room space. In fact, I have 2 clients right now building 2 different floor plans that offer that workout room option on the first floor. And those are actually 2-story plans in the high 3,000s for square footage. I think we're over 3,700 square feet on one, actually 38, and then the other one's close to 4,000 square feet. So if you want those types of opportunities, definitely reach out to me. I got a lot of tools in my tool belt because I've looked at a lot of these floor plans, and that's why I post these videos. I find I memorize these plans when I walk through them. And to be clear, like, it's my videographer actually walking through this home. I have been through this specific home, but sometimes I can't make the time to pull out my video or my phone and take a video. I can't take out drone shots. So shout out to my videographer, Mark, who does a fantastic job capturing these. And then by talking through Mark's footage, I tend to memorize these plans. And so when my clients reach out to me and they give me criteria, there's different ideas that come up in my head because I've memorized a lot of these different floor plans. I also tend to memorize what people tell me their criteria is for their home and what's really important to them. And these things do shift from year to year. And what I'm hearing more of is this. And this actually goes with my client that had like kids in middle school and high school. They were planning on building a home, and they were going to put walk-in showers for both the kids in the bathrooms that are close by to their bedroom, and then the bedroom that was private away from everybody else. They did have aging parents staying with them, so they definitely wanted to do a walk-in shower. And so they asked me, well, that's only walk-in showers, so we won't have a bathtub in the house. But they said, if we want to resell this home to somebody who has kids, can't they just use the freestanding tub in the primary bathroom? And I'll tell you in a second what I told them, because this is very important for resale. But I just want to go quick look back at this main living area because it's incredible, and I want to hear from you in the comments. What did you think of the Verona plan, and what do you think about that dining area in the back combined with the living room? Do you want a dedicated dining room, or do you like how open concept that main living area is? And by the way, if you liked this plan, you want to see another one-story plan that's currently for sale, well then check out the 216G plan right here in Santa Rita Ranch, the top selling community in the Austin metro area. Now, this specific home is just over 3,000 square feet. It has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, and is a sprawling one-story plan on one of the largest lots that you can build on in Santa Rita Ranch. Now, this specific home is for sale just under $925,000. Now, pricing can fluctuate, so the home that we just toured prior to this at the model home, reach out to me if you want details on pricing of where you can build that plan in the Austin, San Antonio metros, and where is there more affordability in some areas compared to others, and we can talk about why. And I'm going to discuss a little bit about that later on in the video, but I want to show you what so many people tell me they love about these one-story plans, and that's these wide open main living rooms. Usually I love showing ceiling height, and I'm sure my videographer was confused on where to show ceiling height because you have tall ceilings here in this dining area that's combined with the main living. You got a sitting area and then a living room back here with 4 windows off the back wall and 2 kitchen islands right here in this wide open kitchen that has a great contrast with the kitchen island and the backsplash, providing that dark contrast so many people are looking for in their kitchen. Now, I've had many clients do a different tone on the cabinets for the kitchen island, but very rarely do you see a different countertop color compared to the exterior. Let me know what you think about that. I feel like it's probably polarizing because we don't see that too much in a lot of homes, but I think it's got an interesting look and definitely provides that white and dark touch that some people are looking for throughout their home. And then we also have this designer vent hood, which again, one of my clients did in their home that just closed with Highland. You're also seeing it in a home for sale right here. So that's not one of those model home upgrades that nobody else does. I've actually seen it more often than you think because some people want to put some great design. I would say most people want to put great design elements in their kitchen just to make it feel more unique because it's a space that they use every single day. And I think that that's a great designer vent hood to have in this kitchen. Now, there is a lot to see in this home. We have a media room and a study. I mentioned the importance of that earlier, where people felt like they were living on top of each other because they didn't have either of those rooms, and they're using a spare bedroom as a study, or they're using their living room as their game room media. And it's nice to have those as separate rooms, which you'll see in this home. But this home also has a fitness room, which I'm excited to show you because, like I was saying earlier, I do have a couple clients building that into their plans, but you're just starting to see that. I feel like that was kind of like a pandemic upgrade that builders started to put in, and I found it's very popular because a lot of people want to have that fitness room on the inside of their home, especially after hopefully creating some good habits over the last couple of years through the pandemic where they were sheltered in place. And I'll be the first one to admit, not great habits were created over the pandemic with me. I feel like I learned to just go to the pantry every 20 minutes and look at the food that was in there. I'm not even hungry, but there was nothing else to do. I just go to the pantry and look at food. So anyway, I think I've broken that habit, but we should all give ourselves some grace. That was an interesting time. Now, moving on, I like this dining area for a lot of my clients that say they want this space combined with their main living room. I think the sliding glass doors make this space feel like it's open to the patio, which is great. That's why this living room feels even more larger than I think it already is. But I think this is the big difference. You have this second living area that you can put a TV in. You have space for a patio door. You have lots of windows looking off the back wall. And for so many of my clients that I mentioned previously, they tell me they spend a lot of time in their main living area. This is the space where they decompress after a long day of work. They're cooking dinner, they're spending time with family, they're watching a ball game. It's nice to have a lot of room here. It's nice to have 2 kitchen islands. It's nice to have nothing but windows and tall ceilings, just making this space feel extravagant. And what I think really takes it to the next level are homes that have incredible views off the backyard. Now, I know you're not seeing that here. There are neighbors behind this home, but keep in mind, there is landscaping that you can do after closing, and I've had a lot of clients do this, especially when they're planning on putting a pool in the backyard, because if you're already going to do stuff in the backyard, then creating some landscaping gives you some extra privacy, and that can make all the difference. In fact, I just had dinner with one of my friends who backs up to a lot of neighbors. They're on a typical rectangular lot, and so there are kind of 3 neighbors behind them, neighbors on either side of them. So it's that typical like rectangle against other rectangles. But what they did after closing is they planted cherry laurels in their backyard. And this is a different community, so keep in mind every community has an HOA that you have to plant what they allow you to plant, and that can be different from each community. So definitely double check that. But in this different community, they planted cherry laurels, and about a year and a half later, it started to give them pretty good privacy. And now I was in their home 4 years later, and you can barely see that there are homes behind them. It's incredible the difference that makes. Now, if you want a video of what that looks like, I think I remember taking a video. I'll look if I have it saved somewhere, but reach out to me. I have lots of examples of people's backyards, and I'll give you an example of that in a second. I did want to tell you that we are in the primary suite, and just like the last home, they did an extension here, just providing this bump out. We talked about the importance of that, and I don't think I have focused in on windows. This does add windows to the back wall, and that can make a huge difference. Now, the sun is behind the clouds at the time I'm shooting this, but when that sun's out and you like natural light coming into your primary suite, it's great to do that extended primary suite, not just for the space, but the windows also make a difference. Now, we were talking about backing up to neighbors and trying to get a little bit more privacy there. So again, I gave you a solution, but that solution does take some time. It's not like those trees are huge when you originally buy them, but they do grow over time. But what I have a lot of clients tell me is they really value space in their backyard, and the idea of backing up to a green belt or backing up to a beautiful view, that is their dream. And for a lot of my clients like that, I do get very excited when they say that, because I love capturing these lots that are coming up and trying to get my clients first in line, because that beauty is incredible, and it's all over here around the Austin metro area. For example, if you're watching this shortly after I'm posting this video, there are lots coming up in a couple of months that I'm already getting my clients first in line, and I'm working with the builder agents to do that. And these are on lots that back up to greenery in Georgetown, Texas. So Georgetown, Texas is north of Austin, Texas, and it was the fastest growing suburb or town outside of a big city in the United States. They had that 2 years running. I think they fell down a little bit on that list, but there's still a lot of growth in that area. I'll talk about why later on. But there's a community opening up lots that back up to a park. And so on the edge of the community, there are east-facing lots coming up that are going to have a fantastic view off the backyard. And this is one of those plans that you can build on those lots. So if you like the upgrades that are in this inventory home, wait until we get to the backyard. If you like the idea of being in a community that's very active, very lively, like this one called Santa Rita Ranch, stick with me. We still have a lot to tour in this home, but keep in mind, if you like the floor plan and you want to build this floor plan, there are many opportunities to build the 216 plan. Now, going back to something that we were talking about earlier about walk-in showers. So going back to what my client mentioned, they were going to put walk-in showers in all their bathrooms because they had grown-up kids, middle school and high school, and then parents in one area that was staying with them. And they asked about a freestanding tub. And the concern about not having tubs is that's really tough when you're trying to resell this home, and new families that have very young kids, like under the age of 2, are looking at that thinking, where are they going to bathe their kids? And the tough part about a freestanding tub is it's got a bigger lip on the front, and so it's difficult to go down into that bathtub to stabilize a toddler or a baby. And I can tell you, this was very difficult for my wife and I. We did some traveling recently where we went to Europe, and we have 2 kids under the age of 3, which was crazy, but we loved it. And one of our friends is turning 40, and so we really want to be there for her, and did take both of our kids with us. And the Airbnb that we were staying at, we made sure it had a tub, but unfortunately it had a freestanding tub, and it was really difficult to stabilize one of our kids. It was definitely a 2-man job where I was holding one of our kids. They were sitting down, but they could still move around, especially if there's a little water in there. And we just didn't want them to slip. And we realized, oh, this is way more difficult than we originally thought when we realized it was a freestanding tub. But that's one thing to look for, and something to think about, because you got to resell these homes and you want to have as many people interested in your home as possible. Now, for this specific home, you'd have a lot of people interested in the backyard that's here. The patio, there is an upgrade on this 216 plan where it wraps the patio around in an L shape around the back of this living room. I have seen that on their model home at least, but it does depend on the community that we're building this in. But I think for this, they left it open just because they assume whoever's buying this home is probably going to do something in that enormous backyard. Most lot sizes start at 40 foot wide and then go 45, 50 foot wide. And that's most communities. But then communities that have a lot of forever homes tend to have 50, 60, maybe even 70 foot wide lots. And on a 70 foot wide lot, with a lot of builders, you can build upwards of 5,000 square feet. So that tends to get you some of the biggest homes production builders put in some of their communities. But then there are communities like Santa Rita Ranch that go all the way up to 90 foot wide lots. And there aren't many communities that do that. But Santa Rita Ranch has sections like this where you can get huge backyards and homes that have fitness rooms like this one. And I loved seeing this because this is something that we talked about earlier where I felt like maybe this was just a flash in the pan. People want a fitness room because of being inside during the pandemic. But I'm actually seeing people even after the pandemic now request something like this, even have clients build it because it's really, really important to them. In fact, I have a client that's at pre-drywall. So at pre-drywall, before the walls go up, you always walk the home with a builder, the construction manager. I also show up to those meetings as well. And we usually just double check electrical. You can also get an inspection done at that time, which is highly recommended. And anyway, we did a pre-drywall walkthrough, and my clients saw their home for the first time. They actually live in Seattle, and they have an incredible view off their backyard. And by the way, this is the 2-car side entrance garage. There is a separate 1-car carriage garage that's street facing. So you end up getting this big driveway that wraps around to this 2-car side entrance garage. But getting back to my client, it was so great to see their faces, see their home for the first time under construction, where you can start to get a visual of where the windows are, what the back patio looks out to, and they're above the tree line with this incredible view. So if you want a good look of what that feels like, go ahead and click on the video in the comments below by the end of this video and take a look at my quick video just showing their view off the backyard. It's amazing, and that's the same community that I mentioned that will also have lots opening up soon, where I expect Highland to be one of those builders that can build this plan and other plans that have an incredible view off the backyard. So it's in that same community as my client. So take a look at that video and let me know what you think. Now, the 216 plan is what they typically call this plan, but I think the G plan just provides this breezeway, which is what they can get away with because, again, we're on a 90-foot wide lot. So there's lots of space on the sides, which you could see previously, and that allows for that breezeway and that 1-car carriage garage and the side entrance garage. Like, there's just so much room on this lot to do fun things like this. That really adds to the exterior elevation. I got to tell you, curb appeal is great for livability. It's nice to drive up to a home that you really like, but it's also great for future resale. And for both of my clients that did the workout room, they also had space on their lot to put a extra garage. So one of them has a 4-car garage. The other one has a 3-car tandem garage with a 4th-car garage bay. Actually, I'm sorry, the workout room took out the tandem space, so I take that back. It ends up just being a 3-car garage with 3 different bays. That adds to the exterior elevation. I've compared their home to other homes, that same plan without that 3rd-car bay garage, and it makes such a difference on how it looks on the exterior. This also makes a difference. Take a look at that dark tile going all the way up the wall. I don't have too many people putting up tile on their wall in the powder bathroom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I have a lot of clients instead doing like wallpaper after closing or something fun like that. Or a lot of my clients do accent walls after closing, where if you just do like a different color in that bathroom, it can make all the difference in how you feel in that bathroom. Sometimes people put like a calming, like blue color or nothing very stark. A lot of my clients paint their media room something very dark. In fact, my client that just closed with Highland, I'll have a video posted of their home that had fantastic upgrades. They did a dark color in their media room, and it makes such a difference. And they watch a ton of movies. Their parents watch movies when they visit, so I'm excited to hear them use that media room, because that was a great plan, and to have a media room on the first floor, which was really important to them, was so great. So I can't wait to show that on my channel. Now, speaking of media rooms, this home still has a media room, so there's still a lot to see here. We got a media room that does have a dark touch to on the walls, which you'll see in a second, and then we also have a study at the front of the home. And while we go through some of these bedrooms with bathrooms close by, I do want to talk about the difference between the North Austin Metro and South Austin Metro. Now, the home that we saw prior to this was located in San Marcos, and if you don't know anything about that area between Austin and San Antonio, it's growing just like Dallas and Fort Worth grew over the last 10 years, where everything in between those two cities grew and eventually met each other. That's exactly what happened, or has happened, between Austin and San Antonio, where this was all country, and now along this Interstate 35 corridor, which attaches Austin to San Antonio, there's nothing but growth around this area. Now, what that's done is two things. The first is there is more demand in this area from where we were years ago, but you could say that about everything across the Austin metro area. Where we were from 5-10 years ago, we'd still have a lot more demand than those times. The second part, though, is something you may not think about. We have a lot more supply in this area. Developers have looked at this area knowing exactly what I just said. Austin and San Antonio, it's always going to merge, both of those metros, and now that it is, developers have tried to take advantage of that, and that's increased the supply of homes drastically. And for that reason, there is demand, but so with supply being so high, the affordability in the South Austin area is much better than the North Austin area. And that's just because there are more opportunities for supply around the I-35 corridor, where there really isn't a whole lot of topography for the most part. Now, why that's different from North Austin is because of jobs. In South Austin, there are some jobs that are coming to this area, but in North Austin, you have tech companies like Apple building their second headquarters 15 miles northwest of downtown Austin. You had Meta go north of Austin into the Domain area. They've now shifted office space closer to downtown, but you still have Amazon at the Domain area, which is 10 miles north of downtown Austin. You have Microsoft close by, you have Visa close by. You have a lot going on in North Austin, where those jobs have driven a lot of the growth that's along that north and northwest corridor of the Austin metro area. Now, what that's done is caused a price difference. So if you look at North Austin, the North Austin metro, like areas like Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, those are suburbs that have tons of new construction options there. And those options are usually higher in price compared to places in South Austin, like Kyle and San Marcos and Buda and these even New Braunfels, these other areas that are in South Austin. And that's mainly due to job growth, but also because of topography. And I'll explain that here in a second, but wanted to point out this is the media room that I think so many people need on these one-story plans, to have that separate game/media room space for kids to play or watch a ball game, but shut those doors and just use this as an enclosed space to hang out. And while we're here, I'll just keep continuing to talk about that topography, because I think that makes a difference. If you look at the north and northwest corridor of Austin, there is a highway called 183. And if you're ever on Google Maps, just turn on terrain and you'll see west of 183 is nothing but hills. So that's why they built that highway along the flat part of before those hills start for people to get around. And that's great. It adds a ton of beauty. It's why so many people look at the Austin metro and think, I want to be in these beautiful areas with rolling hills and topography and greenbelt. That's why I have a lot of clients reach out to me that want views. The problem with that is it's difficult to develop on those lots, on those communities. I have communities where one of the builders that builds there, it takes 12 months to build on those lots, generally speaking, because there's so much topography and there's retaining walls and there's drainage issues and there's so much complexity. That same builder elsewhere can build the same floor plans in 8 months. So that just kind of comes with the territory. And anytime you have a little bit less supply compared to South Austin and then higher income jobs, obviously that plays a factor in affordability. Prices tend to be much higher in North Austin. And obviously it depends on the price point, but if I had to give a ballpark range, I've seen the same floor plan in South Austin compared to North Austin be $50,000 to $200,000 less. And sometimes that's 10%, sometimes it's 15%. It really just depends on the builder, as well as the community and how much inventory they have there. And that leads me to, what are the good opportunities? That's the question I get often on a weekly basis, because a lot of clients are curious, like, market right now has a lot of inventory. So where are the opportunities? And the answer is, it does depend on the area. It depends on supply, right? There's a lot of lots available with a builder and they're not selling that many lots. They might increase incentives to make sure they make sales on those lots. But I think the big opportunity right now are inventory homes. When you have a lot of inventory on market, the pain point with builders is when they have homes that are near completion and they don't have a buyer on it. That is a sitting asset that they're trying to get money out of, that's just sitting there costing them money because they're paying insurance, they're paying taxes on all these homes that they have under construction. Also, there's a liability factor, right? When these homes just sit here, they are open for theft. People can come in and steal. A lot of these builders don't report things to the police, so a lot of people know they can just come in and take stuff. And so builders hate having these homes just sit here completed. And for that reason, I've had a lot of clients, when these inventory homes fit their criteria, we're making great offers and doing good deals with some of these builders, not just for the price of the home, but also getting low interest rates where the builders are willing to buy the rate down to below 6%, sometimes below 5%. I even had a 2-1 buy down program where we got below 3% interest rate for the first year, then it goes to 4%, then it goes to 5%, and then it's 5% for the remainder of the loan. So there's some really good options like that. If you want to know what they look like, reach out to me. I'm happy to figure out what your criteria looks like and what are the options that match your criteria. And I'll be very upfront with you if there's good or bad opportunities based on your criteria. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. Just shoot me a text introducing yourself and I will call you. If you do want to see more homes for sale, click on my website. It's at the top of the description of this video. And then earlier, I told you there was a very popular plan that had a dedicated game room and media room in the back right of the home. It's a 1-story plan that's incredible with Highland Homes. If you want to see that, go ahead and click on the right side of your screen. And as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.